Morning guys, for today's C# data structure question, given a string as input, write a method which returns a new string with the reverse order of characters. Examples: given input string is NAJIB, return output string is BIJN. There are many solutions that you can use to solve this problem, but I want you to try not to use any built-in method or link queue. Once you have used the normal ways without using any built-in methods or link queue, then you can use the built-in method or link to solve the problem. Here I have created a console project in Visual Studio Community. I have the main method as an entry point, and I have this reverse string method which accepts a string, and here you are going to write your solution. After you write your solution, you're going to return the result, the new string, back to where you call the method and just print out. So let's pause this video for a moment, give it a try to think about it, think about what are the ways that you can use to reverse a string using C#. And once you have given it a try, you can continue to watch this video to see the solutions. Now let's write the code. Okay, first we're gonna create a new string to store the results. String new string right. Second step. Okay, there's a few variations that we can do over here. We can create this char array. Say we call this as char array equals to str dot to char array dot to char array will break this string and convert it to char array. Okay, for the third step, we're gonna iterate this array using for each loop for each item in char array. We're gonna concat this element to this new string. So new string is equals to item concat new string, and once we have completed the iteration, we can return the new string. Right, that's it. Okay, let's put a breakpoint in this line and see what's going on. Okay, so here I have a string NAJIB. Once I have run this to char array, let's zoom in. Okay, we can see that we have a char array created. The first element is N, second element is A, J, I, B. Okay, let's take a look of the iteration, what happened. So the first time we iterate this loop, we get the first element from the array, which is N, and we concat it to the left of this new string. So what we get is the first iteration, new string is N. Okay, the second iteration, we are getting the second element, which is A, concat it to the left of new string. And now we have AN. Okay, let's continue. Now we have JAN. As you can see, the first element is pushed to the right, and the last element that goes in is always the most left. Okay, IJAN, the last iteration, we'll get BIJAN. So the return, we will get BIJAN. Okay, this is the output, BIJAN. Although this solution works, the space complexity for this solution is not good at all. Why? In C#, string objects are immutable, which means they cannot be changed after they have been created. At each iteration, new string is created. As a result, the space complexity become big O and square. What about the time complexity? The time complexity for this solution, because it is using a loop, the time complexity will be big O n, which is linear. Lastly, we can shorten the code further by combining this step into this for each loop. Let's comment it out and replace this char array with string. So what happened is, during each iteration, this for each loop will break the string into char element. So over here, to make it clear, it will automatically break the string into char element. The next solution that we can use to reverse the string is this solution. We're going to use a string builder object. First, we're going to create a string builder object. Second step is the same step. We're going to split the string into char array. After we have split the string into a char array, we will get an array like this. As we know, array will have the array index start from 0. Third step, we're gonna loop through this array, and for each iteration, we're gonna take the last element of the array and append to the string builder. The last step is we're gonna convert the string builder into string and return it back. Okay, let's back to Visual Studio. So here I have renamed our method. Previously our method is just reverse string, and because I have another solution, I'm gonna rename this. I won't be deleting this. I'm gonna rename the previous solution to string reverse string underscore string concat. And I've also created another new method for a new solution. I call it reverse string underscore string builder. Here I've copied the steps. Okay, let's start the coding. First, we are going to create the string builder. This string builder is a class that we have to include this system.text. I call the object sb equals to new string builder. Second step, we're gonna split the string into char array. So we have the same step, str.toChar array. Okay, third step, we're gonna use the classic for loop. It's a bit different from the previous solution. Previous solution we use the for each loop. Now we use the classic for loop. For I is equals to 0, instead of 0, we're gonna start from the last element. We can make use of the array length -1. I'm gonna change this to greater than 0 and I minus minus. Right, so for each iteration we're gonna append the array char array char array with the index, array index. The array index will be using the classic for loop, the loop counter for this char array index. Okay, once we have completed the for loop, we can convert the string builder to string and return it back. Okay, let's analyze the big O notation for this solution. Because we are using a string builder to append the space complexity. The space complexity will be big O n, which is linear, and over here the time complexity is the same compared with the previous solution, because it's using a for loop, one for loop. The big O notation will be big O n, which is linear. Okay, let's move on to the third solution. Hope that you get a hang of it. So for this third solution, let's say for example you are not supposed to use a string builder to store a result, and they want you to store the result using another array. So how do we go about it? So first we create a new array. Okay, as we create this new array, we have to make sure that the array size will be same with the size of the string. You can use the string length, or you can use the length of this char array later on. So second step is the same step. We're going to split the string into char array. This is what we're going to get. And as you create this new array, you're going to get an array of 5 spaces. Third step is we're going to use the classic for loop again to iterate from the last element to the first element. It's up to you. You can choose from the first element to the last element, or the last element to the first element. So for each iteration, you're going to push the, let's say for example, you're going to use the last element. You're going to push this to the new array. So as you loop, you'll be getting something like this. Okay, you'll be getting something like this. And once you have completed the iteration, you can convert the array, the new array, into string and return it back. Okay, let's back to our Visual Studio. Here I have created another one more method. I call it reverse string to arrays. Okay, I've copied the steps into the method. Okay, because this second step is the same step, we're going to use back the same code of the previous solution as well as the classic for loop. So first step, we're going to create a new array. So char array new is equals to new char. Because it's an array, we have to specify the length of the array. Okay, we can use the length, the string length. Right. So second step is the same step. We're gonna split the string into char array, and we're gonna loop this char array from the last element to the first element using this classic for loop. And for each iteration, we're gonna push the element to the new array. So I will leave this first. I'm gonna show you this char array. So char array, we're gonna use the loop counter. This loop counter, we're gonna use it to access to the last element of the original array. For the first iteration will be the last element, second last, and so on. And how do we access to the first position of this new array? Well, we can make use of the original dot length, the original array dot length -1 minus the loop counter. So for this test data, we have 5 elements. So the length is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 minus I, which is also 4. So the first iteration, this char array will be accessing to the 0, which is the first position. And for the second iteration, again 5 minus 1 is 4, but for the second iteration, because this is I minus minus, become 3. So here the length is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. Okay. So that is referring to the second position of the array and so on. So once we are done with this for loop, we can now return this new char array. But before we return it back, we have to convert. Okay, we have to convert it. We can convert it using new string. Okay, can convert it using this new string and pass in this char new to the constructor of this new string. For the next approach, we are going to use the stack to solve it. The first step is we're going to create the stack object. Stack is last in, first out, while queue is first in, first out. Second step is the same. We're going to break the string into char array. For the third step, we're going to use the iteration again. For each iteration, we are going to push the element into the stack object. So for the first iteration, is going to push the n, and second iteration you push the I, third iteration you push the j, fourth iteration is going to push the second iteration is going to push the a, third is j, fourth is I, and the last one is b. As you can see here, last in, first out. Last in is b, is going out first. So last step will be the same step. We're going to convert whatever object we've created in the first step back to string and return it. Okay, let's look into the method, how we can write the code. So first we have to include this using system.collection. Stack is under system.collection, and because this stack accepts a type, we're gonna add in the type. Here I'm gonna put the object name is as new stack char. We have to specify the length. Oops, we're gonna use the system.collection.generic as well. Second step is the same step. I'm gonna break the string into char array, and we're gonna use the for each loop to loop through this char array, and for each iteration we are going to push the element into the stack, and the last step is we are going to convert the stack into string. So here we can use the new string and we pass in the stack, but before we pass into this new string constructor, we can convert it to array first. Okay, to shorten the code, we can also command out this and replace with the string directly. Okay, I've mentioned this for the first solution. We can use the for each loop to break the string into char element. Okay. For this solution, the big O notation is the same. Over here, the space complexity is big O n, while the time complexity is big O n as well, because we're using a for loop. Of course, over here the dot push is always big O, time complexity is always big O one constant. Okay, for stack dot push, the time complexity is always constant, because we know that we are going to push it to which position. Okay, this is the solution using stack. Okay, the last thing I want to show you guys is the built-in method that you can use to reverse the string. The first one is array.reverse. Just pass in the char array to this method and convert it to string and return it. The last method is to use a link method dot reverse. You have to include it using dot system link. Okay, just reverse it, convert it to array, convert it to string, and return it back. So here are all the methods that you can use to reverse a string. I hope that you enjoy the video and learn something from it. Thank you very much and have a nice day.